Good afternoon, this is Jeff with Sewer Tech Northwest. Today we're at property address 15880 Quarry Road here. That's quarry, like a rock quarry road here in Lake Oswego. We're located at the rear of the building here, and I'll show that here in just a moment. We have a 4-inch cast iron clean out. It'll be our point of access. We're going to insert the camera and check the overall condition and serviceability of the sanitary sewer line. We currently have water running. Here we go, and this is going out the side of the building here with where the parking lot is at. And once we get headed the right direction here, we're going to zero out the camera counter right here at the base of the cleanout, and we'll refer to this spot right here as the point of access. Transitions here at 22 feet over to 6-inch concrete pipe. It looks like we're going through some standing water here. We'll take a look at all this on the way out when the line's drained. We've got a garden hose running full bore here, which can exaggerate a belly quite a lot. Alright, this right here does appear to be the main lateral connection. We're going to let it drain out so we have a better picture, but once I get into this spot, you can see that the direction of the water flow changes right there. Yeah, located the camera head successfully out at the, let's see what street this is here, on Quarry Road. Looks like we've got some roots coming through here. We'll pull back a little bit. We have a really difficult view here because the pipe is doing a total vertical drop. The camera's dangling in midair here. That's what this is here, is it's a straight drop down. We do have roots coming through. It's at this point not affecting flow, and a lot of that has to do with how the pipe is oriented in this vertical fashion. At some point those roots may get to the point where they clog up the line, but anyway, this right here is the main lateral connection like I was thinking it was before here. I'm going to try and locate this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to reel the camera back to right at the top of the drop. When the camera's dangling vertically like this, I cannot locate it accurately. But you can see those root strands right there at the bottom of the screen. We do have roots coming through. So I'm going to locate right at the top of the drop here. Now, obviously, the repair guys would have to either dig down and just follow it till they found the roots. What I would look into in this circumstance is possibly doing an epoxy liner, which would avoid having to dig the line up. And the way it sits right now, it's functioning beautifully. Those roots are in there, they're compromised a joint. At this point, the roots haven't affected flow. But if you were to remove the roots, you have a nicely working line behind it. So I would look into the possibility of doing an epoxy liner. I would also contact the city to find out if they're responsible for this portion of the line here. I do believe that Lake Oswego does take responsibility if and when a line is having problems. They may not touch it at this point, but it's worth finding out who is responsible for it. I forgot here to check the exact length out the roots were coming through. It looks like right here at about 33 feet is where I can start to see the root strands. Got a lot of water droplets dangling down on the lens there, kind of obstruct our view a bit, but it looks like it's right around 33 feet. About 3-4 feet below the drop. Okay, so where we're at right now is about 2 feet out into the roadway. I put a white X on the ground. I'm getting the depth around 6 feet 7 inches deep. It's obviously going to be a bit deeper than that, probably closer to around 9 to 10 feet by the time you get down to it. Again, I'm locating at the top of the drop before the roots are, because I cannot locate a dangling camera accurately. So just keep that in mind if you do any digging. Again, I would look into doing an epoxy liner if it turns out that this is a homeowner or property owner's responsibility. Given the fact that it's out in the roadway, there's a decent chance it may be a city problem. And we have 1 inch of standing water here as well. Now, typically I start to see toilet paper collect in lines once you get at least 5 feet of pipe with at least 1 inch of standing water. Now, we've got something very similar to that, and given the fact that we already have a root intrusion, I would recommend correcting this here as well. So from 24 feet to right around 33, 34 feet, I recommend a replacement of the line. This would require that you're going to have to dig down to it. Unfortunately, you can't do this one by liner. All right, I've located a map this where we have an X at each end. The X's out there outline the belly that's in the ground. Obviously, once you get to the end of the belly is right where the pipe does a drop, and then a few feet below that is where the roots are. So from 24 feet to 33 feet, I do recommend correcting the combination of the belly as well as the root intrusion. And we're at 6 feet 8 inches deep here, just like we are right at the drop, which is indicative of a belly. It's not grading deeper, 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 so you'll end up with the same exact depth there. And that's all mapped out with white paint once again. It's an X at each end. Now we're just about back to the clean out here. All the cast iron pipe we've scoped here, still looking in pretty darn good shape. There's a little bit of scale in there, but nothing that needs to be jetted out or anything like that. Okay, we're now scoping back towards the building here. Pretty much immediately we go right back into the crawl space. Looks like we've got some running water here. We'll get all the way to the end and let the line drain out. It's probably a pretty short section of pipe here. And this right here is the end of the line. That's we're going up the vent. You can see how we're seeing daylight up there. We're staring up at the sky. Alright, all the pipe going back into the building here looks good. The cast iron's in good shape, no standing water, and is functioning properly. So, again, my repairs are what we mentioned earlier, from about 24 feet to about 33, 34 feet to correct the roots in the belly. I highly recommend a rescope to ensure it was done correctly. A lot of these issues happen, especially bellies happen at the time of installation, so you want to make sure you get a rescope. Again, the line goes straight out to this road here on just to the side of the building. The repair starts just shy of the street and then extends out into the roadway. So it looks like it would be in the city's right-of-way, so definitely check into that. They may be responsible for the entire section of pipe out there that's with the belly and the roots. Aside from that spot there, the rest of the line is in good shape and functioning properly at this time. There may actually be more roots beyond that. The hard part when it's dangling is the water droplets pool up right on the end of the lens. You could actually have roots in other joints past that point, so I would, use some caution and look around in there when you have the pipe opened up. We just don't have a good view beyond that about 33, 34 foot mark.